Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Falcon Fanatic. It's time for the fifth and final episode of our divisional preview series here on the Falcon Fanatic. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing all facets of the NFC West, the best division in football, in my humble opinion. And let's jump right into it. We're going to start out talking about the 49ers. Last season, they made it through the regular season with a final record of 11-4-1. Of course, that one tie coming against the St. Louis Rams in their second game against them. And they did it on the back of their backup quarterback. Who was that guy's name? Colin Kaepernick, that's right. He came in and replaced Alex Smith, did a tremendous job after Alex Smith was hurt. Did so well, in fact, that Jim Harbaugh said, hey, screw Alex Smith, man. I like you better. You're more talented, got better arm strength, and you can run. You're mobile. So Colin Kaepernick became the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, and we all saw his debut on Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears. He showed out, did his thing, and the rest is history. They went all the way to the Super Bowl, and of course they just ended up losing to Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens. In this offseason, they added Anquan Bolden, and they lost Deshaun Golston. Now, the San Francisco 49ers last season, their team was predicated on defense and toughness. Something very similar to the way that the Seattle Seahawks play. Now, the Seahawks finished second in the division, and they had 11 wins as well, but they had 5 losses. They didn't have 4 losses in the tie. They were every bit as good as the 49ers were last season. In fact, their offenses are mirror images of each other. Frank Gore, Marshawn Lynch, same type of running back, cram it down your throat, crown of the helmet, just run you over type running back. You got your mobile quarterback, Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick. You don't have those great distinguished wide receivers, but because of their running game, they were able to do things with the read option and play action fake, and they were just tough football teams. Didn't take crap from anyone, and that's how they played the game. That's how their coaches taught them to play. And the one thing that differentiates the two teams is how their defense is set up. They run the ball and they play excellent defenses. These are throwback teams. But the way they play defense is different in the fact that the 49ers, their strength in their defense comes from their front seven. Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. I'm sorry, I can't even remember the guy's name. But the Smith brothers, Justin and Alden Smith. Pass rush out the wazoo, and the 2 greatest linebackers in the league, in my opinion, right now. That's your front 7 for the 49ers. The Seahawks play it differently. I don't know why I'm about to say probably. They have, without a doubt, the best secondary in the NFL. You talk about Richard Sherman, the brash, outspoken cornerback. He led the NFL in interceptions last season when Darrelle Revis was hurt, of course. And his supporting cast in the secondary is stellar. He's got Brandon Browner, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor. Earl Thomas is a ball hawk. Cam Chancellor just lays the wood. And Brandon Browner and Richard Sherman are just big physical corners. They dominate any little receivers at the line of scrimmage. They don't let people get off the line. All they play is press man-to-man coverage. And that's what they're known for. The 49ers are known for their front 7. And the Seahawks are known for their back half. They both play excellent defense. They do it in slightly different ways, though. I'm not going to talk as much about St. Louis and Arizona because they're a little bit behind. The Seahawks also in this offseason, they added Percy Harvin, but much to say about little. He's out for the season with an injury. He's on the IR. And Cliff Averill is only going to make their front 7 better. They have an incredible pass rush up there in Seattle, and it's part of the reason why I think that they're going to overtake the title in this division this year. So why a lot of people predict them as their early season favorites to win the Super Bowl. Anyways, as I said, we're not going to talk as much about St. Louis and Arizona because they have a lot of growing to do. St. Louis's biggest acquisition in this offseason was without a doubt Tavon Austin. Brings some explosiveness to the offense down there in the miserable, miserable city of St. Louis. Just a dreary place. Hopefully bring back some reincarnations of the greatest show on turf. Nothing close to it, but Sam Bradford finally has somewhat of a weapon. Huge loss for the Rams this offseason was Steven Jackson. So who's going to take his spot? That's a big question, and that's why I don't think the Rams are going to perform that well this year. Arizona has the same secondary that LSU had the year that they won the SEC championship and lost in the national title game to Alabama. They have Patrick Peterson and the Honey Badger. So that's going to be something to see out there in Arizona. They're very young defense. They got a few nice pieces, Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald. Carson Palmer is the biggest acquisition of the Arizona Cardinals. And we don't know what to expect from them. Larry Fitzgerald hasn't had a huge season since Kurt Warner left because he hasn't had anyone decent to throw on the ball. Somebody, throw me the name of a quarterback that was there recently. None of them. None of them are Pro Bowlers. All of them pretty much have more interceptions than they have touchdowns. And Larry Fitzgerald has been suffering, and now he's finally going to get a quarterback with some talent. Now, let's break down the schedule really quick for this division. They play the NFC South, the AFC South. Obviously, there are 2 games against their 3 divisional opponents. I'm talking about each team in the NFC West right now. And we're going to get the Cardinals and the Rams out of the way right quick. I don't think that either one of these teams, with the competition in their division, you've already got 4 losses guaranteed off the bat because you got to play San Francisco twice and you got to play Seattle twice. I don't see Arizona or St. Louis pulling off victories there. So I just don't see either one of those teams finishing the season with a record better than 8-8. Now let's move back up to those top dogs, Seattle Seahawks and San Francisco 49ers. And I've been analyzing these teams for a while now, and I'm just trying to find the one thing that will separate one from the other, one thing that will allow the other to win the division, the other one to fall back into second place. Both of them are going to make the playoffs. But these teams, like I said, are mirror images of each other. They play great defense and have excellent running games. I think that the Seattle Seahawks have the edge in this division because the San Francisco 49ers lost Deshaun Golston, a huge piece in that secondary. Obviously, the 49ers secondary is pretty weak as it is. They're known for their front 7, as I've said many times now. And the Seahawks didn't lose anyone. They just added pieces. They added Percy Harvin. Unfortunately, as I said, he's hurt and he's out for the season. And they added Cliff Averill, another pass rusher to go opposite of Chris Clemens. And Bear Bryant, Chris Clemens, Cliff Averill. You've got a run stopper. You've got 2 excellent pass rushers. I just think Cliff Averill is going to put this team over the top. Not to mention, because the Seahawks finished second in this division last season, they play the teams that are ranked second in the 2 remaining divisions on their schedule. The 49ers have to play the exact same schedule as the Seattle Seahawks, but the 2 different games that they play are Green Bay and Washington. And I think we can all agree that Green Bay and Washington are better than Minnesota and Dallas. And that's why I think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to win the division, because they simply added just enough to squeak by the 49ers this year. 49ers lost a huge piece in Deshaun Golston. Seahawks only got better. And on top of all that, the Seahawks have a slightly easier road. Thank you for listening to the Falcon Fanatic.